Inspector! Why didn't you wait for me?
Put your hands up. You made a mistake when you followed me.
No. I made a mistake in thinking I had a corner on being noble. You deliberately gave me a chance?
You're crazy. I'm a cop. Go on, get out there.
It's all right. The leg's still there. Now relax and take it easy.
Okay.
Not only do I owe him my life, I owe him my leg, too. You know what I did to show my thanks? I delivered him to the gallows. That's appreciation, all right.
You're talking riddles, my friend.
Oh, you can't fool me, Alan. You know what I'm talking about. You know perfectly well I wouldn't be alive if it weren't for Brooks Todd.
Sure, I know about Todd. But frankly, I'm not interested. In my book, murderers are all alike. No good. Let's talk about something else.
What's the matter? You afraid that by hearing the truth you know I'm a heel?
Look, Paul, I don't know what you mean by the word heel, but I do know you went up country to investigate a murder. You brought back a man named Todd. I presume he's the murderer you went after.
Yeah, but there's much more to it than that, believe me.
And that generally is.
Don't try and be philosophical. But you're right, I did go up country. See, we got a report that there'd been a killing. A small trading post, owned and operated by a man named Bruno. Of a second, Brooks Todd became a murderer.
Perhaps it could be said he thought he was firing in self-defense.
I hope so. I know that when he goes to court, I should do all I can to convince them that when Todd killed, he did so believing Ward was going for a gun. It's not the truth, but it's the least I can do for him.
What makes you say it's not the truth, Paul?
I guess when I arrived at the trading post, Bruno gave me the details.
It was inevitable, Inspector. Inevitable.
Why?
Nobody knows for why. Out here in the bush, you develop a sort of sixth sense. You seem to get the feeling before anything happens. Everybody knew that Todd was out to bury Neil Ward. It was just a question of when he'd do it and how he'd do it. We started a sort of pool. We wagered whether he'd use a gun or a knife or make it look like a hunting accident.
You said they were good friends. What had come between them? What happened?
Oh, you don't question men like them. You just give them their head and you stay well away from them. Whatever it was that caused the bad blood between them, that's their business.
Who started the fight?
No one knows. They sat in the corner laughing and joking, and suddenly it started. They were like two big cats. The whole place shook. They just tore each other apart until finally Ward fell. It was the meanest fight I've ever seen.
When did the shooting start?
Well, right there and then. Ward was on his back, and as he tried to lift himself, he put his hand to his pocket. And that's when Todd started firing.
Was Ward going for his gun?
Of course not.
How can you be so sure?
When Ward came in from the bush, he always did the same two things. He took off his sidearm so as he'd be comfortable, and then he'd get a shave.
And Todd knew this?
He knew more than that. He knew that Ward's gun was hanging over the bed in his room. It's just like I said, Inspector. He meant to kill him, and he did.
What did he do after the shooting?
Oh, he came in here and settled his bill. Then he went to his room to pack some things and left about dawn.
How about Ward?
I sent for Dr. Barkley. He's camped a few miles from here. But by the time he arrived, Ward was dead. He's buried outside under the big fever tree.
Tell me, what does Todd do for a living?
Well, he's a licensed guide and hunter. If you're thinking of tracking him, Inspector, you don't stand a chance. He knows this territory better than most people know their own faces.
How do I get to his room?
Oh, it's over there. Shall I show you?
No, thanks. I'll find it. Who's the dame?
Esmeralda? She works here.
She live here, too?
Yes, she's got a room in the back.
She know Todd?
Uh-huh. She knew him.
How well?
She knew him.
You mean she was his girl?
You could say that.
And why is she still here? Why did she go with him?
Well, being on the run with a man wanted for murder is not my idea of a picnic, Inspector. But besides, she's got a good job here. Why should she want to leave?
I imagine you made that very clear while Todd was packing.
Well, I guess you could say that.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I want to talk to her when I finish checking Todd's room.
Yeah, sure, Inspector, sure. I'll tell her.
I checked his room very thoroughly, hoping to find anything that might give me an idea as to where he was headed. But Todd hadn't left a thing behind. And by accident, I found an old photograph of 2 RAF flyers. One of them, according to the description I had, was Brooks Todd. The other I didn't know. And I decided to ask Esmara.
You wanted to see me?
Yeah. How well did you know Brooks Todd?
One woman in such a place? I knew everybody very well.
Is this him?
Yes.
And this will be Neil Ward, huh?
No.
No. You sure?
Positive.
Then who is he?
I do not recognize him.
You don't know everybody.
This man has never been here, Inspector.
Next, I headed for Dr. Barclay's camp, because I wanted to be certain my description of Todd was accurate. For the records, I also required a statement from him, verifying the cause of Neil Ward's death.
Doctor, I'm making inquiries into the death of a young man called Brooks Todd.
That's shooting. An ugly business.
Yes, did you know him?
Well, I had met him. I like him. I can't understand it.
Will you verify the identification for me, Doctor?
Yes. That's Brooks Todd. Much younger, but it's Brooks all right.
Thanks.
Let me see that picture again. This younger man beside Todd.
Did you recognize him?
Yes. He flew over this area a few weeks ago. Silas Jones. Flying seems to make a man younger.
Thank you, Doctor. You've been a great help.
Headquarters Nairobi, calling Inspector Derrick. Headquarters Nairobi, calling Inspector Derrick.
Derrick calling headquarters, over.
A message from Aeronautical Authority regarding Pilot Basil Jones' log. Report as follows. Pilot Jones has for the past 3 days been flying over your present location, always returning without passenger or freight. Most of his flying time has been spent over the Maasai Basin. Repeat, over the Maasai Basin. Is it necessary to reread message? Over.
Your message received loud and clear. Believe Jones is looking for Brooks Todd. Pick up any passenger he may bring in bearing that description. Keep Jones under constant surveillance. I am going to Maasai Basin and will report immediately if and when I find Brooks Todd. Is that clear? Over.
Clear and understood, Inspector. Over and out.
Over and out. The distance to the Maasai Basin was over 150 miles of difficult terrain. With Todd on foot, I knew if that was where he was actually headed, he'd find me waiting when he arrived. For 2 days and 2 long nights, I waited. Radio reports kept coming in relaying that Jones was still flying over the basin. Then on the morning of the 3rd day, I heard sounds of activity coming from not far away. When I first saw him, he was arranging a ground mark, so the pilot would know exactly where to land.
Hold it, Todd.
You're early, Inspector.
No, you're late. I've been here for 2 days. Don't touch that.
All yours, Inspector.
Yeah. All right, get inside.
how'd you figure it out?
Saw a picture of you and Basil Jones. Picked up your trailer Chief Mendotti's village. I was driving, you were walking.
Well, Basil. I'm glad I stopped in landing and getting involved. Trouble, I hope. I heard of a man once who shot a rhinoceros and relined his clutch with the hide.
Generator trouble.
You carried spares, of course.
No.
What do we do? Radio headquarters?
With a dud battery.
Sounds better and better.
Yeah, hammer those tools in the back, will you?
I can't promise you I won't bash you over the head with them.
Don't worry, I'll promise that.
How far is it to Nairobi?
Oh, about 118 miles by road, 82 miles cross country.
You given up with the generator?
No, we'll try again in the morning. If it doesn't work, strip down light and walk.
82 miles. It'll take 7 or 8 days. You planning to stay awake all that time and watch me?
Oh, no, we're not getting all the way cross country. The main road's about 15 miles from here. We head for that and pick up a patrol car.
If we find one.
One will come along, all right. When I don't check in, somebody's coming to find out why.
By that time, I hope to be gone.
You mean you're planning to escape?
Well, my chances look pretty good right now.
The man who killed Ward, is he a flyer?
No. I met him here in Africa about 8 years ago. Strange fellow, Ward. Never talked much about himself. But anything I could do, he could do just a little bit better. And when he did do it better, he took a sadistic pleasure in rubbing it in.
How about Esmara?
I don't think he really cared for her. But she was mine, and that was enough for Ward.
So you killed him?
Not just like that. We spent all day and most of that night working up to it.
And what happens to Esmara now?
I don't think she'll worry much. I went back that night to pick up a bedroll and a few things, and Bruno had his arms around her. She didn't seem to be objecting strenuously. You look tired, Inspector. Why don't you go to sleep?
6 hours to sunrise. You sleep, I watch.
Mind if I watch with you?
That does it. We go on foot. We should reach the main road by noon tomorrow. There'll be one night in the bush, so we leave the bedrolls here.
Anything I can carry, Inspector?
No, thanks. I'll carry everything we need. You just stick to what you've got, huh?
You're not afraid of my making a break for it in the bush, are you?
Certainly not. Go on, let's go.
How about some water?
Sure. Not much left. Yeah, they're leaking. No point in carrying extra gear. Come on.
When I came to, I was propped against a tree. My leg was bandaged, and my prisoner, Brooks Todd, who had saved my life, had escaped. At least that's what I thought.
I might have known an obstinate man like you would make it. How long?
Yesterday morning.
The last thing I remember was my brain exploding.
Yes, I'm afraid that was me. I hit you with your own handcuff.
Huh?
Well, I had to do something quickly, whatever it was. I hadn't time to stop and argue.
As I remember it, I was in no shape to argue anyway. Thanks.
Forget it.
Well, here's your chance. Better be on your way while the going's good.
I think I better stick around.
Why? Thanks again.
Don't make camp here.
Oh, of course not. It's only about 10 miles to the main track now. Let's push ahead.
All right.
Oh, by the way, if you think you're leaving, you'd better hurry. I'm getting stronger every moment.
Sure you are.
A little ahead of time up there. So, come on.
How does it feel?
Not good.
Well, that walking about on it didn't help.
We can't just sit here.
If we don't, you may lose a leg.
If we do, I might lose you.
You would. The moment I thought you could take care of yourself.
And the more I take care of myself, the less your chance of getting away.
I'll get away. In the meantime, I shall enjoy feeling noble for the first time in my life.
At the expense of your life? Do you know what happens to you when we get back to Nairobi?
I'll never reach Nairobi, Inspector. I hope you do. The next morning, I awakened before Todd. I started out without him. I wanted him to escape. I didn't know if I could make the main road. I didn't much care. My body was on fire. All I could think about was one thing. At least he wouldn't hang. But again, I'd forgotten to remember the decency within the man.
Inspector! Inspector! Inspector!
Why didn't you wait for me?
Put your hands up. You made a mistake when you followed me.
The moment I saw the patrol car headed towards us, I knew Todd had forfeited his last chance to escape. Suddenly, the pain melted away. Again, I felt myself being comfortably wrapped in a nice, warm coat of peaceful blackness. Saving my life, he walked himself right up to the gallows steps.
He knew what he was doing. He knew very well.
Oh, sure. Sure, he knew what he was doing, all right. That's the whole point. He killed a man, and society will demand punishment. But he's not a murderer, Alan. He just made a big mistake doing what he thought to be the right thing. That's what I'm going to say in court. I don't care who I offend.
Fortunately, you don't have to go into court and say anything.
What do you mean by that?
Brooks Todd's dead. Shortly after the patrol picked you up, he became very ill. He died before they got him to this hospital.
I don't understand. What was wrong with him?
Snake venom.
But he wasn't bitten.
He got it orally. An autopsy disclosed that he had an ulcerated condition of the stomach. In sucking the poison from your leg, he poisoned himself.
He died saving me.
As I see it, the whole decision was made by somebody much bigger and wiser than all of us.
Yeah, Alan. Maybe you're right.